JBN, we keep you informed. 5 charged in connection with murder of businessman Roger Chang. Detectives from the St. Mary Division have charged 5 persons in connection with the murder of businessman Roger Chang. Charged are Kadisha Mackenzie, 23, of a Kingston 11 address; Seabird Duggan, 60, a mechanic of Enfield, St. Mary, and 3 teenagers, 2 16-year-old and a 17-year-old, all from Enfield, St. Mary. They have been charged with murder, conspiracy to commit murder, illegal possession of firearm and ammunition, possession of criminal property, and benefiting from criminal property. Mackenzie and one of the 16-year-old boys were also charged with simple larceny and unauthorized access to computer data. Chang's body was found along a shoreline in Dover, St. Mary on Sunday, March 15, with several stab wounds, a day after he went missing. The court dates of the accused persons are being finalized. Manchester police identify man killed in drive-by shooting. The police have released the identity of a man who was shot and killed on Villa Road in the parish capital Friday afternoon. He is 48-year-old Wigan Lamard, otherwise called Junior, a resident of Redwood Close in Mandeville. Reports are that shortly after 2 p.m., Lamard was walking along Villa Road, and when he reached the intersection with the Carteret Road, he was gunned down in what witnesses say was a drive-by shooting. One onlooker on the scene said he saw a car stop close to Lamard as the latter was walking away from the center of Mandeville, and he heard gunshots. Earlier, I see my walk come from out of the town, and not too long after me hear gunshots, I hear a car stop, and soon after I move off. When me look, me see Rasta laid on the side of the road on him belly, he said. 18-year-old becomes latest road accident victim. 18-year-old Cardio Bailey was killed in a vehicular crash yesterday morning on Barbican Road, Kingston 8. According to the police, Bailey, who is from Grantsman Avenue, Kingston 8, was driving along Barbican Road about 8:30 a.m. when he reportedly lost control of the motor vehicle. He was flung from the vehicle into a concrete wall, causing him to sustain multiple injuries, the police said. He was pronounced dead at hospital. Man charged with brother's murder in Hanover. 53-year-old Alden Shippey, otherwise called Doctor, of Success District, Hanover, was on Thursday charged with murder. The deceased has been identified as 56-year-old Dalton Shippey, a farmer of First Road in Success District in the parish. The police report that Dalton and Alden were involved in an argument when the latter reportedly used a hammer to hit Dalton on the head, killing him. Alden was arrested less than 24 hours following the incident, which occurred about 10:30 a.m. on Monday, March 23. Returning Residents Association head criticizes government aid restriction in COVID-19 fight. President of the Jamaica Association for the Resettlement of Returning Residents, Percival Latouche, has labeled the government's restriction on the elderly in a bid to fight the novel coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak as absurd. I hear the Prime Minister say on Monday that after age 75 you must stay home. Talking foolishness. So why they don't get rid of Mike Henry, J.C. Hutchinson, Carl Samuda, and others out of Parliament, Latouche said. When people come back from England at age 75, they are young and healthy, so I don't know what they're talking about. 90% of returning residents are well over 75, and they are in good health, including myself, he continued. They are telling people that they must come off the street at 75. But members of Parliament are still in there giving instructions to us. I think that is absurd, he said. On Monday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said that as of Wednesday, March 25, citizens aged 75 and over are prohibited from leaving their homes for 14 days subject to exemptions. The World Health Organization (WHO) has indicated that older individuals, particularly those with underlying medical conditions, are more vulnerable to serious complications from COVID-19. Private schools want COVID cushion. Private schools have urged the government to outline whether they will receive a COVID-19 stimulus to stay afloat amid mass closures that will last for at least a month. Dr. Faith Lynn Wilson, president of the Jamaica Independent Schools Association, is to meet with the Ministry of Education to discuss a bailout lifeline for parents who might desire a discount on fees after losing a chunk of tuition in the Easter term. We have heard quite a few announcements in the media regarding funding opportunities, whether by low-cost loans or grants that are available to the private sector. What we are not clear on is what elements or types of loans are available to schools, Wilson said. Many of our private schools operate with very tight cash flows, and so any adjustments can have negative repercussions. The government ordered schools closed for 14 days from March 13 in order to reduce the spread of COVID-19, the respiratory disease which has been linked to 30 infections and 1 death locally. The shutdown has since been extended until the end of Easter. Dr. Anthony Taylor, principal of St. Mary's Preparatory School in St. James and a member of the Western Regional Coordinating Body, said that the government may have to give assistance to private schools if the closure is extended further. The headmaster is concerned that some private schools, which are heavily funded by tuition fees and revenue streams from tuck shops and canteens, could be into the red by mid-April. We will not be able to take care of our overheads in terms of salaries, taxes, and paying bills. If we are going to go beyond April, the government will have to step in and find a way to assist us, said Taylor. The meeting with the Ministry of Education is also expected to address the prospects of a partnership with the government to share resources online. Wilson was non-committal about whether parents should pay over full fees for the summer term, having lost at least a month. There may be some discounts offered, depending on the cost structure of a school. I am not sure of those details, but what I'm sure of now is that we're going to be continuing school online, Wilson said. We would still need the parents to meet some kind of obligation, and individual schools will determine with their parents what those obligations would be, said Wilson. Our people like the big stick over their heads, says Davis. Montego Bay Mayor Homer Davis believes that the government may have to take stronger measures to enforce compliance with the stated guidelines to restrict the spread of the COVID-19 virus, as residents of the Western City continue to ignore social distancing and other prevention measures. Davis, who is also chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation, said on Tuesday that some vendors have refused to use the Western City's Charles Gordon Market, despite extensive cleanup activities done at the facility. We did our fair share of work up to yesterday by giving the market a good cleanup, and this morning we opened for business, but the vendors refused from going inside the market, said Davis. That is the struggle we're having, as people don't take this thing seriously, and they're going about their business just the same, added an obviously unhappy Davis. According to the mayor, the vendors' refusal to use the market is resulting in a breach of the government's social distancing policy, which mandates that persons must maintain a distance of at least 1 meter from each other. The market can give vendors and shoppers the opportunity to maintain that social distance, but they're out on the street bundled up on one another, and it's not helping the situation. We shouldn't have to call the police with batons, but our people must recognize their responsibility, said Davis. I would say that the government will have to move another step to confine people to their places of abode. Our people are just stubborn, and I don't know what can really drive them into discipline, because our people, in my opinion, like to have a big stick over their heads, the mayor added. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced at a press conference on Monday that stricter measures will be put in place to curtail the spread of COVID-19, for which 30 infections and 1 death have been recorded locally to date. The new measures include a reduction of the number of persons allowed to congregate in public spaces from 20 to 10. The guidelines also state that markets will continue to open at 6 a.m. and close at 2 p.m., and the barbers and hairdressers must not have more than 2 people waiting in a salon at any one time. Island Traffic Authority extends suspension of driving exams. The suspension of driving exams at the Island Traffic Authority depots has been extended for a further 14 days as part of measures to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. A news release from the Transport Ministry says this includes the test for a provisional driver's license. It says the action taken to safeguard customers and the staff is in keeping with Ministry of Health guidelines. During the period of suspension, the adjustment in procedure for testing motor vehicles for certification of fitness will remain in place. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, Leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.